to ask you if you agree with what the President had to say in his letter to Tom Moyane. That recent developments at SARS under Moyane's leadership have resulted in, and I quote, a deterioration in public confidence in the institution and in public finances being compromised. Do you agree?
You know, for me to agree or disagree with the statement would be very difficult. Obviously, I'm an appointee to an acting position. Commissioner Moyane is still in the position. He's on suspension. That there are issues to be dealt with, yes, there are. But for me to criticize in terms of the current Commissioner Moyane, that would be, I think, incorrect of me to do. However, I think it is important to say that we've got many things we need to focus on to ensure that the country has got confidence in the revenue service. And that is what I want to do. I have met my ExCo, and that is what we are committed to do.
Talk us through those issues. What are those issues that need a great deal of fixing?
Well, I think our first step, and obviously at the moment there's two major issues that are on my agenda as we sit here tonight. The one is obviously next week, Thursday, is the close of our financial year. And we need to collect the 1,217 billion rand, hopefully more, so the minister's got more money to deal with the issues that we've got. That's the first issue. So we are engaging, obviously, with our staff, and our staff are out collecting debt that is due. That's my major issue, is to collect the money and enable government to have the benefit of that money to do the work that's needed. The second key issue at the moment, which is not on everybody's mind, is obviously to be ready for the 1st of April in terms of the VAT rate increase. And so my teams have been working on that as well. There are obviously issues beyond that. In the trade facilitation space, when we talk in the customs environment, matters of illicit trade we have to address. There's ongoing issues with regards to cross-border transactions, for instance, of illicit cigarettes, other illicit products that are crossing our borders without the requisite duties being paid. And we need to tighten up on that. But my first step is obviously, let's get the revenue service focused on its mandate of revenue, and thereafter we'll look at the other matters that are critical to ensure we are credible and are a force to be reckoned with in the South African context.
How confident are you that come the 31st of the month, you will have collected, you will have made or reached your target?
You know, I've been here for a number of years, and when we go look at the target, it can move. It's difficult to judge. You don't know what VAT refund applications are coming in. Remember, VAT date is the 25th, and people submit their returns from that date onwards to the end of the month. We don't know what people's provisional tax, if people's provisional, I had one company where the provisional tax deviated by nearly 600 million today, which I got news of. So those things have got impact, and to estimate, I'm confident in my team that we're going to do our damnedest to get there. Whether that's going to be a well above 1217, I'm hoping so. But if you were to ask me to put my head on the block, no, I don't think I can yet, but we are committed to get there.
Now, with regard to the VAT increase that you have to prepare for, which was announced by the Finance Minister in his budget speech, are you confident that you have systems in place? In other words, come the 1st of April, there'll be no glitches?
Well, there's two issues. So the first challenge we've got is to ensure our customs systems are ready on the 1st, because transactions are immediately needing to be changed for that, because people can import goods on that date, and we need to collect on the 15%. In terms of the shops, the people who start charging, they need to start charging from the 1st of April. The collection will only happen on that by the end of May. It starts happening, and we are more than confident that we'll be ready with the adjustments to the return and the various aspects. Our concern is that the various retailers and vendors out there are ready to collect the correct amount of VAT. We are engaging with industry. It is a challenge, but they have assured us, some of the big entities out there have assured us they're doing their best. They are approaching us on certain aspects, but we are committed with them to ensure it rolls out flawlessly.
Now, well, the other issue you're mentioning as a challenge, as something you're working towards, is trade facilitation, as you call it, and you mentioned in that context illicit outflows. Now, if members of parliament who have been looking into this issue are to be believed, South Africa is actually, we're not in a position where we can deal adequately with this issue. Is that a view you share? Are they correct?
Very much share that view.
Why?
Because by the very information that we are getting, if you look at cigarette consumption, for instance, if you just take that as an example, in terms of the reported trade, it has dropped significantly. I don't think we've seen a consumption drop that we are seeing in terms of the excise. Anecdotally, there are many examples of different industries who are reporting to us they are seeing the effects of illicit trade in terms of their market, and whether that be through clothing or other textiles coming in, whether it be through steel or whatever it might be, we're having anecdotal evidence to that. We're having evidence also that there's certain aspects of the financial transactions where there are concerns, where funds are flowing. We need to work together with our other partners in government, whether it be the FIC, whether it be DTI in terms of their mandate that they have. We need to work together with the Financial Surveillance Department of the South African Reserve Bank and ensure that we are trying to match the financial outflows with the goods that are coming in. And for me, that is critical that we focus on that. If we're going to do it tomorrow, Vuyo, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a challenge. As I've said to a number of people in the last 48 hours or so that I've been in this role, we are committed to do less talk and more do. And we want to find ways that we can have some quick wins in the space of illicit trade. I don't know what they are yet. It's too early for me to say. But we want to ensure that our economy functions properly and there's accountability for the proper revenue by these traders.
Well, you know, it's interesting listening to you admitting that, yes, you are actually not in a position to deal with this issue as best as you could. And one wonders whether, in fact, that is as a direct result of what the President has highlighted in the letter that he has written to Tom Moyane. And here's why I am saying this. Once upon a time, not too long ago, though, I mean, everyone in South Africa felt you were this exemplary agency. You are one of the most competent, efficient agencies that you could get in this country. That you can say today that you can't adequately deal with. Is it, in your view, or being too harsh? Is it, in your view, as a direct result of the issues that the President is raising?
I think it's, I would not be prepared to comment on that. But what I am prepared to say is, has there been a slip, for instance, in compliance, whether it's driven by something or other? It could be driven by multiple factors. So tax returns outstanding have grown astronomically. We've had various people dealing with that from our SARS team. To go say it's attributable to one thing or the other, I think that would be a little too far. That we haven't dealt with certain things adequately, we have to acknowledge. Whether how we're going to go about getting back to that, that's something I've got to work out with my executive and see how best we do that. I'm not in the blame game. What I'm doing is looking forward. And I really want to look forward. What are the things that we can do to make a difference to our country? What are the things that we as the South African Revenue Service can give credibility to the government mandate to us? That people know they are dealing with a credible organization. So that means compliance has to be strengthened. We have to start cracking down on these people who are seeking to just simply run away with money, not pay the legitimate taxes. You just drive around the streets and you see cars that people cannot afford. And you wonder how they're doing it and paying their rightful portion of tax. We've got to address those things to get the credibility. It's something I have to focus on. I will be doing that.
We're going to look into those issues and how you hope to tackle them in a short while.